After this lecture, you will be able to understand the meaning of agriculture, regions of agriculture, Whittlesey agriculture systems, the regions around the world, what are the characteristics of the regions, locations, merits of Whittlesey classifications and limitations of Whittlesey classification. As if we all know that agriculture is the most basic form of human activity. Agriculture system is a broad phrase that stresses functional aspects and refers to an area or region with similar functional attribute. An agricultural system might be a single farm or a collection of farms with similar agricultural characteristic. Farming in different parts of the world is not the same. On the surface of the earth, identifying and describing different types of agriculture is difficult. Agriculture encompasses all aspects of physical, agriculture, social, skill, economics and culture. These elements have varying effects depending on where you are in the world. An agricultural region can be characterized as a large areas or imaginary system of a geographical unit that spans the world and has uniformity in agricultural activity, crop varieties, production methods, production variables, land use and farmers' livelihood. Farmers' livelihood also include their home and style of living. The farms stand out from the surrounding environment. Many geographers have attempted to map the world's agriculture system, and Whittlesey is one among a prominent. Whittlesey taxonomy of agriculture system, on the other hand, is a watershed moment and widely accepted. Whittlesey was the first to attempt a scientific classification of agriculture varieties. Whittlesey categorized the world agriculture system into 13 segments based on region in the year 1936. In his major article, Whittlesey defined the Earth's agriculture system based on 5 qualities of agriculture. These were crop and animal association, capital and animal association, capital and labor, subsistence capital, productivity of agriculture. And on the basis of that, he formed different agricultural consumption pattern also. So agriculture methods and techniques were also used by Whittlesey classification. On the basis of these indicators, he categorized the entire world into 13 different agriculture regions. These regions were: the first, nomadic herding; second was livestock ranching; third was shifting cultivation; fourth was rudimentary tillage; fifth was intensive subsistence tillage with paddy dominance; sixth was intensive subsistence tillage without paddy dominance; seventh was commercial plantation; eighth was Mediterranean agriculture; ninth is commercial grain farming; 10th is the commercial cropping and livestock farming; 11th is subsistence crop and livestock farming; 12th is commercial dairy farming; and 13th is specialized horticulture. First is the nomadic herding. This is a large form of animal grazing on natural pasture without nomads and their flocks migrating throughout the year. Nomadic herding is limited to sparsely inhabited areas of the world where grass is the predominant natural vegetation. Nomadic herding is currently centered primarily in sub-Sahara Africa, basically in Niger, Chad, Sudan, Libya, Algeria, etc. Northern Canada and the southern central sections of Asia are not pales of Scandinavian countries such as in Norway, Sweden, Finland. Nomadic herding is an agricultural practice that is either ecological or close to being ecological. It is mostly carried out to provide food for the family as well as clothing, shelter and amusement. It is a sort of agriculture that is rapidly dwindling in importance. Nomadic herding is defined by constant migration of people and their livestock in search of fodder and water for the animals. In the desert and semi-desert areas of North Africa and Southwest Asia, the Bedouin of Saudi Arabia conduct nomadic herding. The following are the main characteristics of nomadic herding, movement in a seasonal pattern, grazing was done by a variety of animals, and transhumane characteristics. Second, I will explain about livestock ranching. Permanent ranchers keep large number of cattle, sheep, goats, horses and other animals in the vast temperate grassland originally named by nomadic herdmen or hunters. Livestock ranching is currently concentrated in United States, Australia, the Republic of South Africa, Brazil, etc. Ranching is the closest thing to nomadic herding in Argentina, Peru and New Zealand. Despite the fact that both live in arid or semi-arid locations, livestock ranchers specialize in animal husbandry rather than crop raising. The third one is shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation is essentially a strategy of land rotation. Farmers clear ungrowth of small swaths of land or other bladed instruments. The trees are then killed by cutting a strip of banks all the way around the vehicles. After the dead have been buried, the area will be farmed. Glutton shifting agriculture, often known as a slash and burn agriculture, and the name given to these cleansing practices. Shifting cultivations are a primitive form of soil exploitation that can be found in tropical rainforest and tropical lowlands hills in Central America, Africa and Southeast Asia, including Indonesia. Shifting cultivation is referred to by many names in different parts of the world, such as slash burn and blush fallow agriculture. These are the two terms that are commonly used to describe the type of agriculture. Ladang in Indonesia, Milpa in Central America and Mexico. Apart from that, Chengxing in Philippines, Conuco in Venezuela, Roca in Brazil. In this type of agriculture system, the farmers exclusively grow food for his family. If there is any surplus, it is bartered. Bartered means it is exchange of one product for another or sold for cash in adjacent marketplaces. After shifting cultivation, let me describe about the sedentary agriculture. Sedentary agriculture refers to farming done in one location by an established farmer who does not rotate his land. This is a sort of subsistence agriculture that differs from the other in that the same plot of land is cultivated year after year. So, fallowing of land is a typical practice used to maintain soil fertility and is popular in tropical areas. Besides from grain crops, this method is used to grow tree crops like the para rubber tree. This is mostly found in tropical areas such as in Central and South America, Africa, Southeast Asia. Crop rotation takes precedence over the field rotation, as I mentioned. Domesticated animals are utilized for milk and meat production as well as for drought situation also. Different crops such as potatoes, sweet potatoes, paddy, millets, maize and other fruits and vegetables are also farmed. Now after that, let me explain you intensive subsistence tillage with paddy dominance. Intensive subsistence farming is conducted in tropical locations with high population and high precipitation level. When it comes to this form of farming, rice is the most popular crop because it can employ and feed a large number of people per unit of land. The majority of this form of farming takes place in Southeast Asia. Farmers aim to increase productivity per unit of land by using manures in this style of farming, which involves both labor and animal power. It is primarily practiced in China, Japan, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka, and other countries are also among them. Farming is likewise very intense with double or triple cropping being used. During the course of a year, numerous crops are cultivated on same piece of land. Only one crop of paddy can be grown at a time. During the dry season, the fields are typically utilized to grow various foods or cash crops such as sugar, tobacco, oilseeds and the fiber crop jute. Another agriculture region is the intensive subsistence tillage without paddy dominance. This is a variation of aforementioned method of farming that is suited for places with low rainfall. Other grain crops grown in these areas include wheat and millets. In portions of southern Africa and Central America, it is also widely practiced. It spans the heartland of India as well as northeast China. Human power is mostly employed and worked on the land. Crop failure and famines are common occurrences in these areas. Now I will explain another region, that is the commercial plantation. Despite the fact that it is only conducted across a small area, the sort of farming is quite important in terms of commercial value. Tropical crops including tea, coffee, rubber and palm oil are the main product of this form of farming. This form of farming has evolved in areas of Asia where European colonial influence still exists. Plantation agriculture was first referred to British settlement in America, then to any other state in North America, West India or Southeast Asia that was mostly cultivated by Negro or other colored workers. A plantation is land holding dedicated to specialized production of single tropical or subtropical crop for commercial purpose. Strong winds, topography, drainage, soil vegetation state and other climatic challenges often impede or even block the development of plantation. Plantation agriculture's key problems include access to labor, difficulty removing vegetation, the presence of new disease of pests, weeds, the quick deterioration of tropical soil and soil erosion. Plantation farms are often big and can be found in sparsely populated places. From 40 hectare in Malaya, India to 60,000 hectare in Liberia, the size of farm varies. A big, disciplined but unskilled labor force is required in these states. Rubber, oil palm, cotton, copra, drinks such as coffee, tea and fruits such as pineapple, bananas, sugarcane, jute are all common plantation crops. These followings are some of the characteristics of commercial plantation. The first one is farming on a large scale. Second is local labor under foreign ownership. States are scientifically maintained when it comes to fanning. Another region is the Mediterranean agriculture. The Mediterranean region's harsh terrain has resulted in traditional livestock and agricultural combinations. Wheat, vineyard and citrus fruits are the most important crops and small animals are the most common livestock in this area. Horticulture is a key industry in the area and majority of the crops are cultivated in the winter with the help of winter rains. Agricultural typology is restricted to Mediterranean Sea, coast of Europe, Asia Minor and North African coastal strip. The system can be found in California, which is not the Mediterranean coast in USA. Central Chile is located in southwest of Western Australia and also in the Cape province of South Africa. You may be thinking, what are the characteristics? It is irrigated semi-descent location at similar latitude. This sort of farming is also present. Long day summers, the occurrence of rainfall throughout the winter season and system for artificial irrigation during summer dry times have all had a significant impact on the agricultural landscape of the Mediterranean region. Traditional Mediterranean agriculture is filled with what can scarcely be grown in the rainy season such as grapes, olives and pigs, as well as small animals herding, mainly sheep, goats and pigs. Farmers have recently begun to use irrigation as a crucial tool which has resulted in the increase of crop such as citrus fruits. The Mediterranean region in fact is home to the world's orchard land which are at the heart of the world's wine business. Next one is the commercial grain farming. Another market oriented style of agriculture is commercial grain farming, in which farmer specializes in growing wheat and less frequently rice or corn. Great wheat belts spread throughout Australia, the plains of interior North America, Russia's steppe and Argentina's pampas. These are as well as in the United States and Canada. The characteristic of such agricultural regions are that the commercial vein fanning industry is quite large. The characteristic of the system is the size of the farm is very large, heavy machinery is used extensively, irrigation fertilizer is used infrequently, production rate is low, the property is located a long way from the market. Commercial grain farmer can operate on such a huge scale because of widespread use of machinery. In fact, grain planting and harvesting is more mechanized than any other form of agriculture. Another agriculture region is the commercial cropping and livestock farming. This is also known as mixed farming. This style of agriculture, also known as mixed farming, developed in humid areas of the middle latitude with exception of Asia. Its growth is tightly linked to the market condition and it is typical European farming style. The United Kingdom and New Zealand are two best examples of countries where the sort of farming is common. It can be found all over Europe, from Ireland in the west to Central Europe and Russia. It can also be found in east of the Mediterranean, in Argentina, Pampas, in Southeast Australia, in South Africa and also in New Zealand. The major aspect of mixed farming is that farm produce both crops and livestock, and two businesses are intervened. Farmers who need to know about all areas of farming to produce and market their variety of products successfully run mixed farming, which are characteristic of significant expenditure on machinery, farm building, wide use of mechanical arm buildings and fertilizers. Farming of subsistence, crop and livestock. Almost little is sold of the farm in this style of agriculture. This style of farming has proven popular in parts of middle latitude where soil fertility is limited or where climate is harsh. It has greatly decreased since Russia's collectivization of agriculture, which was one of the key places where it was practiced. Northern Europe and Middle East and Mexico's mountainous regions. These are also important regions. Produced crop and raised cattle primarily for personal consumption. Seeds are of poor quality and animals are mistreated. Another region is dairy farming. In dairy farming, animals are raised for milk and milk products such as butter, condensed milk, dry milk, or there are different products. It is primarily used in Europe, the northern United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand as well as Denmark, and also practice it. It accounts for 40% of the agriculture income. Dairy farming is a capital intensive business. Long here is from farming massive amounts for the development of infrastructural facilities, and money is a necessary for this type of farming because mechanical equipment like milking machine, milk freezing, feeding towers and birth silos for the storage of fodder for the winter, these all required. So for this huge amount of money is also required. Depending on the size of the holding, the size of the cow in the dairy, that varies from country to country and farm to farm. In United Kingdom, for example, 1 cow per acre of grass is the standard. In northwestern Europe, the average dairy cow herd size is only 5 cows per farm. Europe, Russia, Anglo-America, Australia and New Zealand provide over 80% of the world's total milk production. High yield of dairy products are possible because of the modern methods of cattle breeding and herd management. Under normal healthy conditions, a cow in temperature latitude can produce up to 3000 kg of milk per year. Now after that, the last agriculture region is the specialized horticulture. Horticulture is the specialized cultivation of vegetable, fruit and flower. Horticulture is extensively established in northwestern Europe's densely populated industrial industries such as in United Kingdom, Denmark, Germany and Netherlands, France and Italy. You may be thinking, what are the characteristics of this region? Small horticulture farmers are positioned where communication links between consumption hubs and the goods which are produced. The vegetable gardening of land fruits is very carefully developed. Heavy applications of manures and fertilizers are used to preserve soil fertility and all work is done by hand. Market gardens are meticulously managed to produce the highest possible harvest and an excellent return. In California, Rio Grande, boring of Texas, Florida, Netherlands, Rhone Valley, etc. These are best example of such a type of regions. Fruit regions include west of Paris, Rhine Valley Lake region of Switzerland and in Argentina also, in southwest Germany, and that is known for grapes production. Also apple production is known. Apart from that, Saudi Arabia and Iraq for dates, India and Southeast Asia for spices, pineapple, mango, banana apricot, plum, grapes, oranges, apple, guava and other fruits. And vegetables are grown in India's various agroclimatic conditions and exported to different markets to earn significant amount each year. Many of life's basics such as food, drink and fibers are generated through agriculture. In this modern era, agriculture is the primary source of food for the majority of people. However, many parts of the world are suffering from food insecurity at this time. As a result, a modern agriculture method should be used to achieve food sufficiency. Now, you may be thinking that what are the merits of Whittlesey classification in this connection? As per the Whittlesey classification, if I count the advantages, the first one is that it provides a classification and description of world key agriculture region for use in different publications, and different statistics were used to determine the 5 basic functional form. By plotting the system of first degree of magnitude on a single map, a comparative examination of agriculture region is possible. This research focuses on things that can be seen in agriculture landscape. Further refinement might be suggested using the classification as a foundation. But there are different limitations also. The classification has significant limits that such as the many classification grounds such as institutional, cultural, political elements are dynamic, evolving in response to changes in local, national and global circumstances. As a result, a geographer that lately updated Whittlesey classification and some essential factors such as land tenancy, land ownership, holding size, holding fragmentation and government regulations, these were the issues which were overlooked by Whittlesey, and in contemporary world these are major issues. So in nutshell, I can say that Whittlesey has classified the entire world into 13 agriculture regions, and he had also given different characteristics, the locations. So that gives us as a base to divide the world into agriculture regions, and definitely any concept that will require different components or different factors to be included over a period of time. And that's the reason there are few issues which I discussed at the end that should also be discussed in connection with any agriculture regions. I hope now you all are able to understand the agriculture regions, its classifications, different characteristics and also different concepts or issues related to that.